Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Reviews and Stuff. Today I'm going to talk about the Deadlands 20th Anniversary Edition. So stay tuned. So a few months ago I backed a Kickstarter for this 20th Anniversary Edition of Deadlands. And it just arrived and I'm super excited that it came. I've been reading through it and I can't wait to share my thoughts and first impressions. I haven't read the whole book yet, but I have read enough to have an idea of what I think as a player, at least, of this game. And this, of course, I have my impressions of the books themselves and the items that came. So I was a little bit limited in what I could do in terms of backing the Kickstarter, and I have backed a few. This is the second Kickstarter that I backed that has been completed and shipped. I have a couple others that are funded and I'm just waiting for production to be completed and the items to arrive. And just recently I did participate in our own Absolute Tabletops Kickstarter of the Oath of the Frozen King Adventure Kit. It's a really cool project to back. So if you're at all interested and you haven't got in on that yet, hop over to Kickstarter and check it out. It's pretty cool. It fully funded very quickly and they still have quite a few days to go. I think they're still at 14 days or something before this thing closes. So plenty of time to get in on it if you want to. But this is the second one that has arrived. The first one that I have received was a set of dice from Easy Roller Dice. It's a really nice set of metal dice. But this is the first one I've gotten that's a complete game and that is, you know, a book and everything. So I'm pretty psyched about it. So the level that I backed got me this great hardcover version of this book. And I gotta tell you, it's really gorgeous. So we'll get more into that in a minute. It also came with 4 bookmarks. I believe, oh, I keep forgetting that I have a bookmark in the book. And so let's get the 4th one out. So anyway, there are 4 bookmarks. And at first I thought, oh, you know, bookmarks, big deal. But what's really great is, of course, the book comes and the first thing you want to do is open it up and start reading it. And I can keep track of where I'm at because I have these handy bookmarks that are extra handy because they're already right here with everything. So that's pretty neat. I'm liking that. It also came with this little poster. It's really small. It's just I don't even think it's an 8.5 by 11. It's a little smaller than that. And it's of the cover art. So I'm not really sure that I'll do much of anything with that. I'm not a huge poster person, but we'll see. And then there were a ton of PDFs along the way. The really great thing about this is from the moment it closed and was funded, they really did a good job of filling us in on what was going on, and they were releasing PDFs to us on a pretty regular basis. There's also a soundtrack. I haven't listened to it yet. I've had it for quite a while. I just kind of keep forgetting I have it. But there was a soundtrack, and again, there were a lot of PDFs on the way. Far more PDFs than I have materials here. So lots and lots. I think there's quite a few adventures. There's a PDF of this character folio, and then this, I believe, came with, I think this was a stretch goal. And this is really cool because it's like having all of your character sheet information in one place. Of course, your typical character sheet spaces, and then it has a place for your background and your gear, just like you'd have with a D&D character sheet. And then it has sections that have something to do with the different, they don't call them classes in this, but your concept, the equivalent of what you have as classes in other games. There's a few here that I think have a little bit more that go on with them. I'm sorry, I'm just getting over laryngitis and I'm just having a little bit of coughing and stuff, so pardon me. Anyway, and then there's a section here of graph paper for maps and things. And so that's kind of cool. I don't think that I'll probably actually use this because it is slick paper and because I did get the PDF. So I'll probably just print a PDF out of the things I need. But this is pretty cool if you wanted to have this all in one place for your character. I do like the idea that it's all, you know, just right there and you can take it with you, go out the door, and you're set with everything you need for your character. So, but I'll probably just keep this pristine so that I have it to enjoy later and kind of show off as one of the items that came in my Kickstarter. I also got Paradise Lost, which is an adventure. I believe this was something I did do as an add-on item. The other add-on that I did 2 more, and the first one actually are dice, and it came in this great bag with the Deadlands logo on it. The dice are these, there's a full set of your typical 7 dice. Oops, I didn't get them all out. So you have your typical, you know, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and D20, and those are in this kind of gray and black swirl with the gold lettering. Pretty cool. And they're just kind of typical acrylic dice. And then there's this one that is a whole different color, and it's this fabulous orange. I've been actually using a set of dice just like these lately. They've been rolling great for me. I love this color. I do wish this was the same as the other one. I wish it was the squared off 6-sided instead of the rounded edges. I don't know if that comes out on the camera. But then it also has this symbol on it where the 6th spot is, and I don't know what that's about. I haven't gotten far enough into the rules to find out. So anyway, I'm a dice addict, as you know, and I had to get the dice, and I figured I was going to kick myself later if I didn't get them. The other thing that I wish I had done was, I didn't know it was important to the game, but I do wish I had backed at a level that would have gotten me the poker chips and the deck of cards. I didn't know that they were actually used in the game. I've never played the game before. So here I am coming into this game for the first time, not knowing that I needed those things. And had I known, well, I don't know. I think I still probably couldn't have afforded to back at that level. But I am wishing that I had those now. So anyway, I'll probably just end up ordering them. So let's talk about the book just a little bit, the book itself. It is gorgeous. I love getting a hardcover. I am definitely a tactile person. We've talked about this before. So this is beautifully bound. It's in really good shape. I've cracked it open a few times already, and it's not showing any signs of what you sometimes get with new books, of where you feel like, oh no, I opened it and I'm straining it and the pages are going to want to come out. I haven't seen any binding issues yet. So it's been really great. It has great artwork throughout, and it has this fabulous map of the Weird West. So incidentally, I guess I should talk a little bit, if you aren't familiar with this game and you're like me and you're kind of coming into it the first time, this is a game of essentially the Old West with a alternate history, and it has supernatural woven into it. So it's, you know, take your spaghetti western, combine it with a touch of steampunk and zombies and vampires and, I don't know, undead creatures. I don't know what all's involved monster-wise yet, but you have this element of the undead, and that's Deadlands. So it seems really, really cool. The alternate history story is very interesting, and it's got a believability to it that I'm really liking. The way the book is set up is really, really consistent throughout. So this first section is set up with this newcomer's guide to the Weird West, and that part is all set up kind of like an old-time newspaper, and that's exactly how it's written. It's written as if a reporter is telling you what's going on, and this is all the things that any player would know about the world and what's going on in it right now, in this part of the world anyway. And so it tells you all about, you know, the history, the Great Rail Wars, and a couple other things. I don't want to have any spoilers, but it's pretty cool, and it talks about the different forces in the country right now, who's running things, the president, all that kind of stuff. So, and then it moves on into the meat of the book, which is the first section is your player's guide, and it has kind of the same theme all the way throughout as far as the color scheme and what you could expect. So it gets into that. It's really well laid out, like I said. It eventually does move into the martial details. So that's your Dungeon Master's Guide equivalent in Deadlands. Instead of a Dungeon Master or a Game Master or a Storyteller, you're the Marshal. So the person who runs the game is the Marshal. So why do I have an interest in this game? Well, first of all, I've always been interested in anything involving, you know, urban fantasy, the undead. I've always been a big fan of, say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Urban fantasy books are my favorites to read. I especially like things about the side of, you know, hunting the monsters and taking the monsters down. You know, the good guys taking down the bad guys is always great. You combine that with the Old West, and boy, you know, give me a big bowl of popcorn, I am happy. So I have always really enjoyed Westerns too. On top of that, this is a dice pool system again, and I just definitely have a thing about rolling huge quantities of dice, and I really like that. And I like the idea that the things that make up your character are things that you can pool together to all affect the outcome of your rolls. So this game has a really cool character creation system too. I've read through that first part, and I think it's really slick. I think that it is easy enough that you could probably, if you have a Marshal who knows what they're doing and has run this game before, I suspect that you could sit down with a group of people, create your characters all together, and just play. And maybe once I've read through the Marshal section of the book, maybe I'll find that it's just as easy to run it too. I'm not sure yet. I haven't gotten that far. But you actually use a deck of standard playing cards, and it's really a neat thing. So you roll a certain number of cards, and you get to throw away a couple, and what you're left with determines how your character goes together. And basically how it works is that the number values on the card determine the type of die that you're going to apply. And that's going to be applied to your traits. And traits are similar to the abilities that we have in D&D. And then in this game, instead of having, in D&D, how we have the abilities, and then the number of that ability determines what your bonus is on it. In this game, you have a level of that trait, and that's actually a number of die. And that's determined by the suit. So for instance, if you have a Jack of Hearts, the Jack is going to be an 8-sided die, and the Heart is going to allow you to have 3 of those. So whatever trait you assign that to, you're going to use 3d8 when you have to apply that trait in the game situation. And so that's pretty cool. So this game also has aptitudes, hindrances, and edges. The aptitudes are kind of more like your abilities in D&D. I'm probably oversimplifying, and the hindrances seem to be, basically they're your flaws. They're pretty self-explanatory, and then edges are bonus things, and they're pretty cool. So I really like the simplicity. This seems to be something that would be really simple to do, is create your character. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. And so I'd like to know if you're interested in seeing how that works. If you are, please let me know in the comments below. I am definitely thinking about creating a character or two just to help familiarize myself with the system. I understand that that's a really good way to get to know a new system. So I thought I'd give that a try with this game. And if that's of interest to you, let me know, because what I'm thinking about doing is maybe doing a live video or a hangout, and people can join me and give their input too. And especially if you're just wanting to see how this game works, that might be a great way to see this in action. But for those who are experienced, it would be great for me because then I can get your input. So let me know about that. So anyway, the book moves on. It's like a lot of books that are all in one. It does eventually get to a point where it's no man's land, and if you're the player, you're not supposed to read past that point. Interestingly, as you read through and you choose your concept for your characters, there's some areas where it says, hey, get the marshal's permission and go read this section at this page. And so it's pretty cool. There are additional things you get to learn, but they do try to make sure that you're not like learning so much that it will affect the mystery of the game for you. They do try to keep it a little mysterious, and there's good reason for it considering the subject matter. So another thing about this that seems really cool to me is that it clearly has a touch of camp to it. You know, you've got a pretty dark subject matter. You've got the occult, you've got the paranormal, you've got a country in its early stages of growth, you know, going through growing pains with the rail wars and everything going on. And so there's this, you know, there does seem to be a touch of humor in there to kind of help break that up. And it's intentional on their part, they mention it. Oh, I just realized I forgot to share one other thing. One other add-on that I did get is I got the Savage Worlds Deluxe book. I hope that this is what I would need to do other adventures with this system. I hear that it's supposed to be a really good one for adapting to different kinds of stories. So I figured if I enjoyed the system and liked it, that this might be something I would want. So I did pick it up. I hope it's going to be the right thing. So anyway, my overall first impressions are just really, I'm really pleased with this. I'm really happy that I backed it. These guys at Pinnacle definitely were very communicative. They were really great, always letting us know what was going on. They were really generous. I think all those PDFs are pretty cool and pretty handy, and I'm pretty sure there's quite a few adventures amongst those that I'll be looking forward to. I think there's also just some fiction. So overall, I'm really pleased. I can't wait to try to play this. So, as I've said about other games as I pick them up, if you run this game, if you've marshaled this game, and you're interested in hosting a game and letting myself and maybe Nate as well join you, please do let us know in the comments below. I would love to just jump right in and try this game out. I'm really looking forward to it. And if you have any tips for getting started, whether it's as a player or for the Marshall side, share those as well. We'd love to just get your input and have some guidance from you. Also, if you have any interest in sharing your knowledge and helping us kind of walk through that process, we might like to do a video with you. So all of our contact information is below in the description, and we'd love to do that. We're definitely looking to get to know the community a little bit more. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it the thumbs up. Again, we'd love to hear your comments. And please don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. And until next time, get out there and get gaming, partner.